People. Sometimes I cannot help but notice that life is very complicated these days. But what can you say, right? All you can do is just keep living and see where you're gonna land. Keep living, keep giving. There's no point in just selfishly okay, I'm just gonna shoot through this. Are you sure you wish to load? Yes. I decided against leaving the apartment because I feel like there are other things that I should be doing or that I could be doing or that if you're talking from a future perspective, or that you may have done if you would have taken the time to actually do it. Oha. Okay, I have to reveal. Is there anything happening? Okay. It's a bit slow. Maybe I have to restart the entire computer. Because even for this computer, it seems really slow. I had a series of weird dreams. Okay, let's just see. I'm not sure if this is actually gonna work. It sounds very laggy. Wow. That's a shortcut, by the way. I have to say, I actually kind of like the slow-mo. That's the weird thing. I mean, that's getting used to being an individual, right? You know, this is how it works for me. Right. Yeah, there's an actual art to playing jump and run games. Okay, this is not jump and run, this is ride and shoot. And I'm not even the best there is. Of course not. I'm just relatively good. Ah! He tried to get the apples. But failed to pass the test? Is that how he could have expressed? Okay, this time I'm going to take the long road. Okay, see. No, I'm not that good anymore. Slow-mo. What is going on? I mean, it fits to the theme, but it's not meant to be like this. But it actually makes it much more interesting. I have to admit that. And the reason I'm still ahead in the game is because I simply do it. It's not so much about having fun all the time. This is work. I'm working off stuff. With what I have, right? Okay. I don't know, I had a few times recently I started to develop the habit of drinking red wine. I don't know, I have certain habits that seem unmaintainable. But what can I do, right? I mean, if life is just a bit shit, sometimes you just have to give in if there's too much pressure. And then just find an outlet. So it's not about just being super whiny. It's not about being super tough all the time. I don't know. I can, whiny actually comes from drinking wine. But I do feel like, wow. I think I have to restart. Because that is... people looking for... Well, the last round was relatively fast. Yeah, I will not drink wine. Then...
Congratulations! You win!
You win a trophy! Okay, I think I'm gonna eat now. Gonna pause this recording and continue after the restart. Okay. So I cleaned my apartment. Wet wiped. All the surfaces got rejected again. Took it like a man, went shopping. Prepare myself for tomorrow's hike. Oh, that's the worst part. Hey! Geronimos. Hey, yeah, yeah. No. Oh boy. Always one more, eh? Holy shit, that's gonna be a close one, man. Yeah, he knocked himself out. But it's not over yet. Woohoo! That's what I wanted to see. That's absolutely yes. I know, I like this game. Sometimes there are really close wins. Yeah. I have a lot of these in my own life, I think. In slow-mo. Yes. Maybe it's the world. But I can tell you, it was never that bad. Or my laptop is getting slower. You know this feeling? You eat one bar of chocolate, you think you should have eaten another one. It's never enough. Nothing is ever enough. I really think nothing is ever enough. Until it's enough, but until then it's never enough. I really feel that way about a lot of things. Nothing is ever enough. You could always watch that one movie again, right? You could always do so many things. But sometimes I just say, yeah, certain things I will never repeat. Like asking my neighbors if they want to have a barbecue, right? I don't know why, but I'll just not do that anymore. Apparently it was not my place. A lot of the things that I try are just being rejected, and in the end I just have to do everything on my own. I'm not kidding when I say that. It's literally like this. Like, I often ask people to join me to do things, and then in the end I sit there and I'm alone. Whether they say that they want to join in a spasm of dishonesty, or whether it was inappropriate of me to ask because I actually don't know my own place, or whether I actually know that I'm gonna do it alone, but they act like they want to join and I try to give it to them, but then they chicken out, which I may have known in the first place. You know, I'm starting to realize that in the end I'm just gonna do all these things by myself. This is the story of Aragorn. I'm just saying, if you want to be good at anything, I mean, what's a king? A king is just someone that was really good and the people said, you're gonna be king. You cannot make yourself a king. Like a true king cannot be self-proclaimed. He has to be chosen by the people, and for that he has to go through all kinds of trials. And I have read a bit in the Silmarillion, you know that thing, the Silmarillion. And it said there, or was it that one? Or was it, no, it was in the prequel or sequel or some kind of foreword or prologue of The Lord of the Rings. I think it was the attachment. Because I have this big red book in German though. And I don't know how I've gotten better at this game. Because I clearly remember that I was less good last time I played it. But of course, last time playing added another experience. Okay, so sometimes you just have to accept that there are certain things in your life that single you out as different, but you don't understand why. There's just something, and I can only, if you put a word to it, I can only say that's fate. Because I never chose to be the way I am now. I mean, I made lots of little choices, but if you look at it, you know, that's this Steve Jobs speech about connecting the dots, right? You have to look at your life. And for that I would say, well, you have to look at your life to connect the dots to actually see who am I. I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I couldn't have told you that I'd be standing here recording this with everything that has just happened in my life. There's no way of foreseeing things, and then the question is, why is there something like foresight? Why have I had visions? Why did there come a voice and say I should fast for 6 or 7 days? To get clarity, to realize that I have to, like, I've been bewitched by this woman and I had to free myself from her, or she would have kept my spirit a prisoner and I could have never done what I'm supposed to do, which is apparently in a certain way give emotional support to other beings that struggle and who have probably creative shamanic potential, because that is who I believe I'm talking to. Tough people who want to get closer to nature. Otherwise you wouldn't have to listen to me, right? You could watch anyone playing Crash Bandicoot. You don't have to watch me play Crash Bandicoot and talk to you about stuff. So the answer to all your question is probably, right, just do something. Because there is no real answer that will satisfy you. Believe me, I've tried. I've looked at so many things, but in the end I cannot explain why I have to do this. I'm just a mirror, a reflection of the times, but I'm reaching out into the past. And this is also something I got from Lord of the Rings, where he says that from the moment he wrote The Hobbit and he then started working on The Lord of the Rings, the story grew roots into the past somehow, but also reached out into the sky, right? It's like a whole construct, and that's the tree of life. A story has its own life, of course. And so your story has its own life, and this is simply something I have had in my life. If I'm ever gonna get the chance to play Crash Nitro Kart or Crash Bandicoot ever again, it's a possibility that I will keep coming back to these things. I feel like I have had other plans, playing Heart of Darkness. That would be a big one for me, for which I would clearly need a better laptop. Or playing Apes Odyssey, for instance. You know, that kind of stuff. Those were the two that I still have had in mind. Where are they? Oh, there. Yeah, I clearly have gotten... I mean, it's not just the game. So I'm a great fan of letting go of certain things and then getting back to them at a later stage. Such as playing computer games, right? You don't play them for some time and then you get back to playing them again. This is my methods with a lot of stuff. Sometimes I don't go hiking. Sometimes I don't hold planks. And then I just do other things. What? Yeah, you have to learn to defend yourself. Okay, so I've just made my point, you know, because I just made a pact with two women that we would hold a barbecue and they both chickened out because of ridiculous excuses they had. And, you know, they thought they could kind of like beat me with this, because I know how people always want to win, right? Well, I took the dagger and, you know, returned the favor, which I would call reverse psychology. Why am I saying that? Because they try to win over me in certain ways because they reject the natural hierarchy of things, which I would call simply the truth. You know, I'm the toughest guy they'll ever know. You know, I'm just saying, that's just personal observation. You know, I mean, I hike barefoot for hours. I rarely sit. I survived most of the winter without a radiator, and they're all weak. And I have been moved to this place here, and they had all these weird power games, you know, controlling each other with fear, and then now suddenly I come along and I try to motivate them to have a barbecue together. And now all of them, after we said that we would do it, all of them chickened out. And maybe I'm taking this a little bit too personal, but I have had such moments already before. And maybe it's really not my place to invite women to barbecues, right? Maybe I haven't learned from my mistakes, but I simply said, well, I'm also a being with feelings, and if you first say you're gonna join, and then you don't join, you know, I'm also emotionally involved. But people like to act like, you know, it shouldn't matter to me, because everybody constantly tries to screw anyone they can get their hands on, right? You ask people to join in, and then they don't want it anymore, because they try to hurt you. They try to mirror you their pain. It's also a way of seeing it. Well, the way I see it is, they're just pussies. You know? But maybe they're just maintaining boundaries. Well, I'm not gonna have a barbecue again with them. I'm just gonna do it my own way. And maybe I should just be here as little as I can, because I actually don't want to do anything for anyone, because I don't really like people, especially not people that gossip, and I don't care why you gossip. It's enough for me that you gossip, right? I mean, there's a difference between telling the truth and gossiping. If you tell the truth, you just say how it is, but if you gossip, you make up stuff. to put yourself into a better perspective. So you always have to look at both sides. So of course there are many facets to this situation that has just occurred. But I'm just saying, well, they should have considered me as well. But they probably think, yeah, he's gonna get along, right? He's young, he can take the rejection. Yeah, I know that I can take it, and that's why I'm taking it. But I still made my point, you know, I too have feelings. And that's the same principle of people treating animals like animals, and I say, well, animal is just a word for another being that you use so you can act condescendingly. And that's a fact, right? You cannot treat animals in any different way than humans, which is why hunting ought to be the best way actually to get yourself some meat. But okay, this one I'm sure I'm gonna need a second, at least a second run. But perhaps not, let's see. For me it was just, I just had to make my point. Sometimes that's just what you have to do. Sometimes you just have to make your point and just say, hey, you know, this is how you've been acting towards each other, right? That's why nothing happened here. That's why you're not talking with each other. That's why you're all separated, you know? I'm just taking the blow and mirroring it to you, but I'm not gonna do that again. Okay, this one is a bit more complicated because she knows how to play games. Yeah, probably. No, this one is more complicated because it's kind of like a maze the way this thing is built. Everything kind of looks the same, but it's not. Okay, I can see. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it. But it could have been a quick save. Okay, before I have to suffer the shame of defeat, I'm just gonna retry. But I think I'm gonna get it this time. Or I'm just gonna prove my point and do it 50 times. Just to stretch out the recording. You know, I'm playing games in my mind. And if you try to enter my mind, you'll find yourself in a maze. And that's, you know, an amazing maze, because I've built it. And that's basically what they've talked about in Inception. And it's hard to understand. I don't even quite understand it. I just know that I'm doing it. Well, in a way I do understand it. How am I doing this? Well, I simply observe and then I align myself accordingly. So I realize there are certain kind of like trapdoors where you manage to wiggle into my mind. And as soon as I realize that you've been doing this, I'll block you next time. And because I've had already, you know, first of all, I've learned from nature, or you could better say I've been trained by nature. And because I have been trained by nature, there's all kinds of tricks, you know, like your mind is a bit like an animal, but not necessarily. Yeah, forget it. This one's really complicated. I mean, it's not the first time I'm doing this. Okay, I'm actually gonna get it. Yeah, I once managed, and I had almost no time left. I just remembered that, and I actually drifted around the corner and just jumped into it. And that's why I like it if you've got nothing to cling to, if you're just doing it without thinking about it and with almost no experience, because that's when you have the steepest learning curve, right? I mean, once you've done it, there's nothing to it anymore. You know you can do it, and then you can do it again, of course. I mean, I really like these old computer games because they had lots of stuff going for them. With which I mean to say, boy, I'm really wondering if I just have to do everything on my own, because I have already done so many things on my own. And I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to continue like this. All I can do is just see what is being reflected onto me from the outside, and then I have to react to it. No, I really don't know. All I know is that it's confusing. I mean, really, really confusing. I just do things, and when I'm rejected, I simply say, oh, I was mistaken. I thought there was an opening. But then in the end, I'm actually glad. Sometimes I'm glad I was rejected, because it would have been a drag, you know. I'm not, you know, I'm more the wolf, right? I'm more the wolf than the nice grandfather. And that's just how it is during times like this, you know. To people who are afraid of nature, I'm the wolf. And in the end, they'll always blame me. No matter how nasty they are, and no matter why the wolf showed its fangs, you know, in the end, right, they'll just blame it on you. So whatever happens in the mind, ooh, that was a close call. You can never, if you feel anger or like vicious intent, you know, never bring it to the physical. Just go hiking, make art and go hiking, because in such a way they cannot do anything. I'm just telling you, this is how I have been doing it. So you just stay calm, you don't shout, you just hold your ground, and yeah, you need a shield. What's your shield? Well, I have formed an alliance with nature, basically. Plus, I can differentiate left from right. You know what I'm saying, right? Most people, they cannot do that. They don't know what's left, what's right. So, I know, right? I'm aligned with nature, and nature made me strong, so I'm grateful for nature. But what else is there? Well, you've got cities, but everyone in the city is confused and out of place. there are very few people who actually know what's going on. And everybody tries to play these weird power games. And they just fuck around in their minds. Because they have no outlet anymore, you know? They are not in nature anymore where they get washed clean. So it's just everything's disturbed. There's Wi-Fi signals, there's electricity disturbing your energy field, there's radio waves, you know, there's all kinds of weird toxic stuff, and you simply have to learn to deal with this. And that's a challenge, to realize that people can get into your mind. Like literally, they can get into your mind, because we are all beings of mind. And some people are better at it than others. Everybody can do something. I simply learn to put up, you know, to set up boundaries, to say, you know, that's all you're gonna get from me now. You know, you want me to reject you, okay, cheers, you know, you do your stuff, but you leave me out of it. You don't gossip about me, because I know you. I know if you gossip, because I just know it, right? I can feel it. I can perceive energetic shifts. If you build up gossip energy because you sit around and gossip, I'll know it. And then I'll treat you accordingly, you know? And that's just what it is. And that's just what you have to realize. Because people need to be kind of like, well, I mean, sometimes you have to just be a little bit intimidating, to just show them a little bit of your shadow, because if I've got a lot of light, you can count on it that I have got a giant shadow. And people often underestimate it, what it means to be enlightened. It just means you've got a lot of light. You discovered something. But that means you also have a massive shadow. Right? Because you only work in contrast to your background. And I've got a lot of light and I've got a massive shadow. And I have to get used to this as well. Because I cannot remember ever having gone through such things, but the way I've been behaving, it almost seems like I already have gone through severe mental training before, because I can remember, right? I can oh no, the time trial. Blah. I don't know, I don't like the time trial. You know, this is the kind of stuff which you just want to get out of the way. It's super fun if you start playing life kind of casually, you know what I mean? This is the James Dean everybody wants to be, only he left very early. I'm glad that I cleaned my little, you know, some people, they want to relax too much. In that sense, I'm not your super nice friend. I'm just saying, I'm gonna ask you, did you do your planks? And then the answer is better yes. Because you have to actually do this. Because if I would stop riding with you, you know, then who's gonna take care of you? You know what I mean, right? I mean, let's say you're my wife and we're gonna marry, and let's say, you know, we have children and then suddenly I die, which is always a possibility, then I have to know that you can carry on without me. And, you know, I always like to think that this is like bonded for life, you know. I would always like to think that there's nobody that can replace me. But some women need a man for stability, so they'll just replace you anyway, which I find dishonest. Yeah, I mean, but ultimately, what's really replacing? I mean, if you're married, how much time are you supposed to spend with other men? You know what I'm saying, right? You know, what is an appropriate way of being married? I don't know. I would like to have, if, you know, I'd be married, I'd probably like a lot of time with my wife. But are we talking physical time or time in your mind? Because if you can read minds, you know, you can just be connected and stay connected without the need to always connect physically. So, you know, sex is one thing, but I suppose that if you know something about channeling energy, you know, you can just stay connected, and that's a bit like sex. I just try to keep rejecting lots of women, and sometimes I feel like I'm actually laying traps. You know, I'm really testing people. You know, I'm asking you to join me, and if you do, it's gonna be a challenge. If you don't, you know, fuck off. You know, I'm gonna delete your number, and I'll never save it again. I'm just saying, this is very likely. I have done this before. There are consequences if you reject someone. And if you take me for granted, well, you know, I cannot allow such behavior because I don't take myself for granted. I'm glad that I know I exist. And so I have to be, you know, sometimes I show that I'm vulnerable. And then I turn around and I smile. But, right, I may have still suffered a blow. And then, well, what's then the next step? Well, I usually trust in the law of attraction. So, sometimes there's this moment in my life where I then simply stop coming, stop reacting, I just say nothing, I just remain silent. But if life would, you know, introduce us again, you know, okay, let's see, you know, have you done your homework? You know what I'm saying, right? Have you done your homework? You know, who's the leader in your pack? You know, not everyone can be a leader, and there may be people who are leaders in a certain way, but not in another way, right? So I could be like the intellectual kind of leader, but there may be someone who's more into all this physical stuff. So maybe somebody's training new recruits for the team, because we need to be, you know, friendship is not like childhood stuff, you know, like really mature friends have to really be able to trust each other, especially during, yeah, times like this maybe. And so what my perspective is, you know, I have a good overview and I can communicate emotions. Plus I can process a lot of information. And this could be my upbringing, this could be my, you know, the way I've been parented. You know, this is just, I'm an opportunist. And I know other opportunists that just had not the same upbringing as I had. I had a stable family home. And I simply said, you know, I connect better with people who spend lots of time on the streets, right, than with people, you know, I connect better with people who follow the law of attraction, not so much. It's more this, you know, survival of the fittest, the laws of nature. This is one of the laws of nature, right? The strong will survive. You know, we struggle, we fight. And that's basically who I connect very well with, people who acknowledge this. Everyone else is just a waste of time, because that's the basic thing you have to understand. If you haven't done your suffering, then you will never understand what I'm talking about. You have to know what hell looks like. You have to know what the underworld looks like. And this is not a place in Wonderland. This is something in your mind. You know, the circumstances of your life may be similar to that of your siblings, but in your mind there's other things happening. And this brings me back to, we are actually beings of mind. We are beings of mind. We can no longer convince ourselves that we are, you know, that there is no spirit. You know, my body is the collection of experiences that I underwent, but it was my mind that pushed me through this, right? Or my spirit, whatever. For me, spirit is like a light bulb. It's like a battery. And in the end, what's it really matter? I'm still here. I cannot die. I'm reluctant to let go. There are things that are happening. You cannot explain life. You just have to live it. Hey, look at this. You can look into his head. Oh my god. Interesting. You know, that's just my perspective. You cannot explain this. You just have to live it. I'm just doing this because a lot of people are still clinging to words. It's just an interesting concept that, you know, science has suggested that we're the body, and then you have all these body fetishes running around like they're the body, but your body is just something that helps you move, right? It's something that projects your intention into, you know what, physical stuff. And I simply have acknowledged this, which is why, in a sense, I can let go during certain times of hardship or whatever. You know, it doesn't really faze me, because in the end you're just hurting yourself, or you're just hurt. And I can just mirror you that. Right? I can just mirror you that apparently you're hurt. You Vic. And that's all then. And then you can simply have an experience with me and say, oh wow, when have I become such an awful person? Well, congratulations. This is, you know, looking into the mirror. You know, you're trying to beat the mirror. You're trying to hurt the mirror, but the mirror is you. You know, I'm just reflecting you. You know. And some people are more like wiggly snakes or eels. And there's people that are like... they've got pincers and stuff. And today I just bought 3 bottles of wine, simply because I said, you know what, I don't care if people think I'm an alcoholic, you know. If I need to drink wine, I'm gonna drink wine. So what's the point of feeling shame? Because maybe I'll have guests over. So what am I supposed to feel ashamed about? You know what I'm saying, right? You know, if I know what I'm doing, and I have had evenings where drinking wine actually helped me to let go and to move on. Wow, this one is so hard to get. So, you know, I've had neighbors ask me, what do you do the whole day? Because they think I'm just doing nothing. You know, I'm working super hard. I'm just doing lots of stuff. I'm standing, I'm moving, you know, I'm cleaning, I'm recording, I'm writing. I have several different projects that I have to keep working on at the same time. And, well, you ask me what I'm doing just because you're doing nothing. I've told you, you know, if you're bored, maybe you should crochet, because if you gossip, you know, it's gonna be hard on you, because, like I said, you know, I'm gonna pick up on it. And then in the end, it's gonna shoot back to you, because what gossip actually is, it's a form of voodoo. And if you do voodoo, you know, you're gonna realize that there are people that actually know how to do this very well. Because they've actually undergone real training. So, okay, do I get it? Nope. Okay, so I have to do it again. This is the moment where you feel like, I don't want to record this, and hey, you've got the head again. Okay, so I have to get the K. Well, I was trying to get it. It's just harder than it seems. Apparently, there's things I needed to say. This is also part of voodoo, by the way. No. Simply speaking about these things, because people gossip, right? But if I pick up on it, you know, I'll talk about it in my podcast, where potentially millions of people can hear it. So, every little game you play, I'm just gonna lay it out for anyone to listen to it on the podcast. So next time, you know, you'll not gossip, because you know that content creators have a huge following. I'm just saying, this is not just about followers. This is not just about numbers. This is about people that connect inside their minds, and then they kind of like team up. This is like the hive mind from Rick and Morty. Oh boy. I'm just saying. And it's super hard to understand this. I'm just saying. It's super hard to understand this, and it's really hard to maintain it. Yes! Okay. Oh, he says the doctor is in. To me, he'll always say the doctor is ill. So yeah, sure man. You can complain a lot about lots of things. Yeah, I'm not interested in catching little girls. Okay. Damn it. Okay, now I'm in the same position as last time. Now there's one letter left for the last round. But at least it's a bit easier to get. So I was never really a fan of a lot of strategy games because I'm more an intuitive player. Plus, if you're playing, let's say, there's on Linux, there's this game called Zero AD. It's a free strategy game. There was a time where I was playing it, but I stopped because in a way it annoyed me, because you have to spend a lot of time building something, but you can actually never live in it. You know what I'm saying? And every time you're building it, somebody comes and tries to destroy it. And that started to become really annoying. Okay, I may still get it. Maybe it's better to pay attention. Yeah, I don't want to... Damn it. Okay, I just want to see if I will still manage... Yeah, I'm not gonna accept team-ups anymore. Yeah. I'm not gonna get those two. Okay. Again. But I like boundaries. No, I'm just saying. If I realize that people don't actually like me, then all I can say is, well, I don't care then. You know, if you don't actually like me, then I'm just gonna be the super distant guy. And I'm just gonna focus on my art, just do my stuff, and not gonna give a shit if you live or die, because I'll say, you know, I think you should be able to survive on your own. And if you cannot do that, well then run to the state, just as you have done it for a very long time, you know, then be a pet, you know. I choose to be wild. I actively choose to be wild. And then apparently... Okay, at least I've got that one. If I get this one, then I know I'll have it. Yeah. Always these rockets. It's super hard to escape them. Well. Yeah! I like fast games. Yeah. Well, that's basically spirituality's teaching. You've got nothing to hold on to. You simply have to react to whatever is happening. And whatever is happening is then like a challenge. Okay, they'll have a hard time to catch me now. I'm just saying. Unless my teammate Wow! I'm even getting the hang of this one. Okay, so I cannot say that. I mean, in a way I'm actually glad I'm being rejected, you know? I'm actually glad I'm being rejected because I actually wanted to be rejected. I just reacted to these women trying to get me. And I think they'll not try again now. And so maybe they'll just work a bit better together so I can do my own thing and they can get off my back. Because in that sense I'm like a titan. I mean, I fight for survival of nature. You know, they think it's a joke, but they're afraid, right? So if you're struggling, do your planks, do your hiking. You know, get it done.
Wonderful. You won a token.
This is crazy. Okay. Hey. Hey. Yay. But I assume I should be able to make it. It's hard to say. Whoa. Okay, that's gonna be a close one. Yeah. I'm not sure. Nope. Nope. Yeah, it's frustrating. You see yourself like heading into the finish line or something. And every time you fall back. But ultimately, I don't care. Like I said, you just get used to it. You think you can ram your little dagger of rejection into my heart. I'll just give it back. That's basically how you have to do it. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I do have to say that the noise is really annoying. But whatever. I'll just carry these emotions on the hike. Because otherwise you'll just... Right, I'll just take these emotions and I'll just hike them. You know? And that's all I can do. I cannot sit around and wait for you, you know, I'm gonna go anyway. Yeah, I'm very emotional man. Okay, there you go. And that's what we need. People who actually feel things. Okay?
Super job. You won a relic.
Yeah. So I have. You have to drink something. Yeah, I prepared some green tea, oolong tea, with not sure what I all put in there. I still have to do my my dishes, but what I now received was a token of truth. I was digging for some truth, so everybody was acting like nice here in this so-called community, and I tested them, and what I realized was it was a bunch of bullshit. They don't want to connect. They want to be separated. And so I tested them, and now I don't have to do anything anymore for them. I'm just saying. And they know that. So I'm a genius. I don't know if eating chocolate is such a genius move. Okay. That one came off, but I like this level. Even though so sometimes I eat a lot of food before I have something important to do. And then on the day where I'm doing it, I just bring tea and fast. I have done this more often already. It actually works. You know, him I'll accept. But I won't team up. Oh, wow. Crash and Burn. I've never played that. Chirring, chirring. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep chocolate. I cannot. If I have it, I'll eat it. And then it's disgusting, and then I won't buy it for some time. So, tomorrow, 30 kilometers, starting at, well, I'll leave here at about 8, maybe 8:30. Okay. Okay, I'm glad I finished this session. Plus, I still have to work on my book. Crazy Wisdom 3. You know, I'm the best friend you could have, but I'm asking for things. You know, I'm asking for loyalty, because I don't want to replay the Jesus story. I'm just saying. So, you have to know what's at stake in your own life. I've just realized a couple of things, and I need friends that are actually right, where I know they'll, you know, if somebody would come to challenge me or whatever, I know, you know, they just ward him off. And they don't have to, like, be aggressive or anything, they just have to know who they stand for. Because I know who I stand for nature. And if you stand for nature, right? And I stand for nature, then we both stand for nature. And I think that could be then something like friendship. So we choose to be friendly towards each other because apparently we have like a similar goal. And so it's a bond. And this is something that I have felt already since I came here. Like from a very early age, I have felt like something's very wrong in this world. And something has to change. Like I knew that this is not. I always say, you know, I didn't know much, but that I knew that something's really not right here. And so I've been in a sense, struggling against this kind of oppression and just destruction of nature, this disrespectful behavior towards all sorts of beings. And I just feel like this just ought to stop. And some people clearly have the wrong impression, but in the end it's personal choice. I mean, if you try to attack me, then you're really in a bad place, because what have I ever done to you? You're just projecting your image, the image that you have of men, onto me. And so, how am I supposed to react to this? Because I've never done anything to you, but you treat me like I have. So who am I to you? Am I just a penis? Just the face of a man? Because I am myself, right? We never met. So you have to know who you are. And if you put on lipstick, then I have to assume that you have gone, like, you're nuts. You don't know who you are. Who puts on lipstick? It's ridiculous. But that's just something you have to know. You cannot explain it to someone. They just have to know it. Okay. That's it. I've done my part. You do yours. I'm saying. One left. And then the Velos vault. Cool. Yeah. 400 grams of chocolate later. Actually, it's disgusting. I don't know why I just did that. Maybe I just have to boost myself through the night. Wow. Tea is great. Okay? Had enough, eh? Had enough, eh? It's like Monty Python. I mean, it was clearly lacking seriousness. And it was really nice in the beginning. The Holy Grail, for example. But towards the end it just got more and more boring. So if you just try to live like life and be funny all the time, it's just gonna get boring. I mean, you can make jokes, but these should have like, they should draw from insights. They should have real depth. And then they're not jokes, then they're just comments, right? I'm just commenting on my own life. What I see, what I feel, what I perceive. And that's what I feel like. I mean, what else could I do? That's what I can do, and I'm doing it. And here you go.